I'll definitely put that one under the category of you can't win them all. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. Mariners dropped this one today 6-0 to the Phillies. They get dominated by Zack Wheeler. They fall to 59-54 on the season. And with 49 games to go, Mariners have a one-game lead in the AL West as Houston falls to the Rays today. So it's go time here. 49 left to go. Time to go get ourselves an AL West title. So we'll see how it all plays out. Before I go any further, do me a favor. The like button helps tremendously. Thank you all for hitting that like button. Over 200 likes on the video yesterday. Can't thank you all enough. Again, comment your thoughts on the game or the series in general. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. 74 subs away from 4,000. Maybe this week. I think it's a possibility. Hopefully the Mariners can win some games. Winning seems to help a little bit more than losing does. So if you are new here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you've been with me for a while, you've heard me say this 100 times. If you're new here, it might be your first time hearing it. But, if you'd reverse the games and put this game on Friday, Friday's game today, and then left Saturday's where it was, we'd all be really happy and jumping for joy about this series. So there's no reason to be disappointed about taking 2 out of 3 from a really good Phillies team. They've been scuffling. I think they've lost 6 series in a row. They were just swept by the Yankees the previous series. They were going to get one eventually. They were going to get right. You saw Bryce Harper heat up today. Schwarber knocked one out. It's a good ball club. Very hard to sweep a team that good. They're going to find a way. I think we all would sign up for winning 2 out of 3. Were there frustrating things in this game today? Absolutely. Taylor Saucedo continues to struggle. Zack Wheeler's fantastic. It would be nice if the Mariners could have done a little bit more offensively, pushed a run across, maybe made it a little bit more, of a chance to win that game. And you hate wasting a really good Logan Gilbert start, but matched up against Wheeler was going to be really, really tough. Kind of similar to the Boston series in a way where you win a blowout, you lose a blowout, and then there's that middle or that other game that's a toss-up. In Boston, you lost it, and in Philly, you won the toss-up game. So can't be too mad here. You got the Tigers coming into town, a much worse ball club than the Phillies. You are going to face Skubal on Wednesday, so that'll be a tough one. You do counter with George Kirby, so got to be careful there for sure. But I think all in all, pretty good weekend here for the Seattle Mariners. And like I said, 49 games to go. You got a one-game lead. There's been some frustrating paths to it. The 10-game lead, the frustration of the Angels debacles this year. But I think if you would ask pretty much all of us back in April, would you sign up for a one-game lead with 49 to go? I think we all would have taken that. I think you'd like to see a little bit better record, obviously. Just to kind of leave that wild card as a fallback. They're not out of the wild card race or anything, but I'd like to see them more tied, a game back, a game up, as opposed to I think they're 3 or 4 games back. So it's not out of the question, but I feel like if you get hot enough to catch that wild card spot, you're probably going to win the division. So I kind of feel like it might be division or bust, but not the worst thing to keep an eye on the wild card race. Let's dive into this one. I'm going to keep it pretty short. It's Sunday. You guys want to spend time with the families and everything and all that. So I'm going to keep this one pretty short and sweet. And there's just not a lot to talk about. Logan Gilbert was great. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Only blemish was the home run to Schwarber in the first at bat, got behind 2-0. Kind of grooved a fastball to Schwarber. Schwarber's a tremendous power hitter. He's going to hit him out. He's going to get on base. You tip your cap there. You kept the Phillies in the ballpark most of the series. They got the one off Logan. A shame. Again, I don't look at pitchers' wins and losses and judge them by it, but it's definitely a shame that Logan Gilbert is 6-8. He deserves much more than 6 wins as his ERA sits at 3.05. Listen, that's because the Mariners' offense, it's been swinging the bats much better the last couple weeks, but overall, it's still been a poor offense this season. So going to be tougher for the Mariners pitchers to get a lot of wins. But Logan was great. That at bat to Castellanos in the 3rd inning, I think, really drove up the pitch count. That hurt a little bit, maybe prevented him from going 7 in this game. But still a great outing from Logan Gilbert. You do hate to waste that, but it wasn't against a scrub on the other side either. It was against Zack Wheeler, who is a tremendous, tremendous pitcher. Nice inning from JT Chargois. I think a real nice addition. Not the name that you sit there and go, oh my gosh, we got this dominant, like a Jimmy Garcia, or if you were to acquire, a Tanner Scott or someone like that at the deadline, but definitely a guy that I think is going to help. 2 1/3 so far for the Mariners since he's come over. 3 strikeouts, no walks, was aided by a couple nice catches by Victor Robles. But especially with Santos being down, Chargois is going to be leaned upon, and he's done a nice job in his 2 games so far. Jimmy Garcia, tough outing, 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit, a walk, gave up the home run to Bryson Stott, and then ends up giving a couple runs because we'll talk about Taylor Saucedo here in a minute. Listen, Garcia's been leaned on pretty heavy since coming over. No problem with it. You got the off day tomorrow. I don't mind trying to get the inning out of him. He came into a 1-0 game. Even with Wheeler dominating, 1-0 is doable. Bloop and a blast. You never know when that can happen, and you can get the W. Garcia's certainly not his best. We'll talk about Sauce here, but it is important to know as we get into Saucedo criticism, which is probably going to be, I think, the maybe one storyline to take out of this game. Jimmy Garcia was not great today either. The command wasn't there. It happens. He's been great since coming over. I think a day off will help. Threw a lot of pitches yesterday too. You could have made a case not to go to him. Maybe you should have gone to Austin Voth there. He didn't throw a ton of pitches last night and was a little more rested. Might have been a better decision, but I'm also not going to complain because we've gotten on Scott for kind of going away from the better pitchers in the bullpen when they're down a run. So he went to one of his better ones, just didn't have it today. Rough game for Taylor Saucedo. Doesn't record an out, gives up 3 runs, all earned, gives up the home run to Bryce Harper, then the home run to Alex Boehm, and Brandon Marsh gets a line drive base hit off of him. Saucedo really scuffling. I think you can make a strong case not to go to Saucedo in that situation. I do. I think that's fair. Bryce, I keep wanting to say Bryce Miller. Bryce Harper's actually hit lefties better this season. And regardless, that Sauce just has been struggling. Now, again, the bullpens, there were a lot of innings yesterday or a lot of pitches, so I get it. And Sauce did get Harper out yesterday, so probably thinking he can do it again here. And there were 2 outs, so you just got to get the batter out and you're out of the inning there. The issue really and with that said, though, the bottom line, I don't think they were getting anything off Wheeler, so it probably wouldn't have mattered. But here's the thing with Taylor Saucedo, and great dude, rooting for him. We'll see what they end up doing if they want to make a roster move. He's just struggling right now because he's struggling to throw strikes, in my opinion. And when you don't have overpowering stuff, you've got to be in the zone. Andres Munoz can get away with being a little wild at times. The stuff is good enough that you're going to get guys to chase and you can get out of tough situations. Listen, these are all major leaguers. They have great stuff, but in terms of comparing it to the rest of the league, Sauce's stuff is probably, middle of the pack, is something around along those lines. So when he's not having pinpoint command, he's going to have a tough time falling behind in counts and stuff like that. He is going to be easier to hit. It's tough right now. You just don't really have, you like to keep a lefty in the pen, but if your lefties aren't getting outs, you just go to righties, right? Like, it's like the rotation. Do I think the Mariners could probably use a lefty starting pitcher? Yeah, I think it would be nice, but I'm not going to sacrifice Brian Wu or Bryce Miller for Marco Gonzalez. You know what I mean? They're better pitchers than Marco. Same thing with the bullpen. Would I prefer some lefties down there? Yes, but I'm not going to sacrifice performance just to keep a lefty down there. And maybe gave Spire another round here. Now, Spire, I don't think, can come up unless you have an injury because he has to be down for 10 days. Spire's velocity wasn't there when he came back. I think you could make a case to give it a shot, or maybe just anybody, somebody that's down there in Tacoma or maybe in Arkansas or something that you think can get some high leverage outs. Maybe give him a shot, see if Sauce can get fixed a little bit in the minors. He does have an option left, so I don't think it's the worst case scenario to do it. Maybe Sauce gets just fixed at the big league level. Relievers are weird. Talk about all the time. They can just go through it and then come right out of it. Austin Voth had some rough outings a couple weeks ago, came out of it, but it feels like it's been going on for a little bit here with Saucedo. At the very least, you can't be using him in leverage situations for a little bit here. Kind of same we talked about with Stanek at one point before he was traded. You got to take him out of those spots and just kind of use him more sparingly because just struggling right now. And I think it just comes back to not throwing a ton of strikes for Saucedo. So we'll see if they end up doing anything there. Trent Thornton gets an out, throws a third inning, gives up a hit. Jonathan Hernandez, a really nice 9th inning. You can see the stuff, the command sometimes not always there for Hernandez, but throws a shutout inning with a strikeout. Definitely a great candidate, I think, for the lab, as the Mariners call it. to get a guy, I don't want to say fixed necessarily, because I think Hernandez has got good stuff, but maybe get that command dialed in a little bit. And I think Hernandez can help. The other thing I like about him is he's someone that can go more than one inning. And I think that's something the Mariners are missing, because I know a lot of people kind of, oh, the Mariners bullpen seems overused. Well, actually, their starters, I think, have logged the most innings in baseball, and their bullpen has pitched the least. But they have so many short outing relievers. I think they could use a guy that can go 2 innings. I think Chargois is someone that can go more than an inning, and I think Hernandez is as well. And as we get into September here, I think that might help. So excited to see what Jonathan Hernandez can do, and had a nice outing in the ninth inning. Offense, not much to talk about. 3 hits, 1 walk, 11 Ks. Robles, Cade Marlowe with the pinch hit single, and Cal had the double in the first inning. Arozarena did hit a ball hard, I think, in the 6th or 7th inning. Other than that, man, just not a lot of even hard contact. Zack Wheeler just dialed in. Truthfully, had it stayed 1 or 2-0, I think he could have gone 8 or 9 innings. I'm willing to let this offensive performance slide. They've been swinging the bats really well. You ran into a really good pitcher today. And Sims and Blowers are right. They're talking about it on the broadcast. Logan and Wheeler both struggled in their last outings. You knew they were going to bounce back. Those are not the type of pitchers to have 2 really bad outings in a row. Unfortunately, the Phillies got one with Schwarber off Logan, then got to the pen, and the Mariners just couldn't get one off of Wheeler, unfortunately. Couldn't get that bloop and a blast to fall in. Cal didn't miss a home run by much. That gets over the fence. Maybe the game goes a little bit differently. So we'll see. Listen, if the offense takes a nosedive here, then sure. But I am certainly not going to blast them too much for struggling against Zack Wheeler. Again, I think they could have done a little bit more. It would have been nice. Again, I don't think anybody's asking for 4 or 5 runs here. Would have been nice to get 1 on the board, maybe make this a tie game and see what would have happened differently. But again, when you win the series and all that, I'm kind of willing to let it slide. I don't know if that's the right terminology. They're all important games, right? Like you said, the 49 to go would have been a huge win if you could have gotten it. Would have gone 2 up on Houston. Would have felt really good, giving yourself tiny bit of breathing room. So I'm not trying to dismiss and just say whatever. But guys, there's 49 left. They're going to lose some of them. They're not going to go 49-0. And out of the ones you can lose, this is one I can stomach. If we really want to get on the team for right now only having the 1-game lead, let's go back to the Angels, losing 6 in a row to them. That's really where some of the frustration should lie. Not in a series where you win 2 out of 3 from Philadelphia. Looks like Dominic Canzone may be back here on this homestand. They have the Tigers and the Mets, so we'll see what they do there. I think the immediate idea would be that Cade Marlowe goes down, but Canzone and Marlowe are different profiles, right? Canzone's a little bit better, at least should be, more of the hitting profile. Marlowe's speed and defense more so. I wonder if Jason Vossler ends up going down or being DFA'd. I've liked some of what Vossler's done. I think he's had some nice at-bats. But in the last week or so, they've looked a lot worse. He started out making some good contact, but, again, Zack Wheeler today, I can't get on him too much. But I think if you had to ask me who I'd rather have in the roster, I'd rather roll the dice with Canzone, I think, than Vossler. Dom can DH a little bit, play right field, even play first in an absolute pinch if he has to, which is kind of the role Jason Vossler has. So I actually think Canzone would take Vossler's spot if he comes back. I actually think that might have been why Vossler was in there today, just to kind of see if they can get a little something out of him. But I think that'll be the move. I think Cade Marlowe makes sense to stick because Robles has been hobbled a little bit. Canzone's not a great defensive outfielder. Mitch Haniger's not great. You've got guys like Polanco, Haniger, even Robles, if he's banged up, that could need you. A Cal, Garver, if Garver's on base, that you need to pinch run for. Cade Marlowe gives you that better option. So I actually think Cade sticks, and I think Vossler probably gets DFA'd. Again, I've liked some of what I've seen from Vossler. I wouldn't mind him sticking, but I just feel like I'd rather take the shot with Dom Canzone in those at-bats if they're going to go to somebody. I'm not necessarily been infatuated with Canzone this year, but I think it's the better bet. So we'll see what ends up happening. Would be shocked if there's a roster move there. And we'll see if they do anything with Saucedo as well. The Mariners have been pretty patient with guys. They'll kind of ride out the cold streaks, but it's, like I said, pennant race here. So time to buckle down and get it going. So ran into a dominant pitcher today. You still like to win the game. Certainly stings. You had a chance to gain another game on Houston. That sucks that they couldn't do that. But if they can bounce back Tuesday, I'll feel fine to let this one go. Like I said, Houston does play Texas tomorrow. Chance to get a half game, get that lead to a game and a half, which would mean Obviously, you're in first through tomorrow, and you'll be in first through Tuesday no matter what. So hopefully the Mariners or the Rangers can find a way to beat Houston tomorrow. Would make up a little bit for today's game. So hopefully that happens. I'm going to get out of here, everybody. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. And as always, go Mariners. Peace.